Well, morning all. Welcome back to the Toei HD channel. It's been a little while since I've uploaded a vid there, but I thought I'd upload this one. I was reading an interesting article on the drive.com.au site that I came across, and it was written very well actually, and it's regarding lifting speed limits. Apparently there's a gentleman in Queensland who would like to see the speed limits on freeways lifted to 130 kilometers an hour and country road speed limits lifted also. So now it's important to note at this time that I'm not being paid to promote the Drive website. I don't work for them. I'm not getting any kind of I'm not getting any kind of royalties. How about that? For promoting their website. I will post a link in the description to the article I'm referring to. And this is more or less just an opinion, and I'm actually really keen to get some opinions from some of you guys and to share your thoughts. And as long as they're valid, polite thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no room on my channel for any smart asses. There's no room on my channel for any degrading comments or anything to criticize others' driving habits or others' thoughts on driving habits. None of us are saints when it comes to being behind the wheel, especially myself, and we should all just remember our place when we discuss things of this nature. So going back to the topic, so we got old mate up in Queensland, and he's he'd like to see the limit on the freeway raised to 130 kilometers an hour from 110. And he mentions he does mention trucks in this article, and that they should have their speed limits raised as well. And then country roads also. So we'll go to the country roads thing first. Okay, let's do a hypothetical. Let's say most country roads you're looking anywhere between 80 and 100 k's, and let's say hypothetically you get a 10 to 20k increase on a country road, right? No, not on a country road. I don't think I could see that happening. I mean, look, in the article, as you can see here, he does make a valid point. The modern car is a lot safer these days. You know, things like airbags, ABS, even tyre technology. You know, tyres these days are absolutely great. Now, if I go back to the 80s and 90s when I was in a tow truck, and in particular the 80s, you know, it would rain, and it wasn't rain to us, it was liquid gold, basically, because we knew we were going to be busy. Now, you fast forward to the 2000s and beyond, and these days it's just not the case. I mean, I'm more likely to go to multiple accidents as the roads are drying out rather than when it's raining. So, and I don't know, look, there could be several reasons for that. I'm not going to get into that. I have my own opinions on that as well. But to raise the speed limit on a country road, getting back on topic, no, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea at all. I think the posted speed limits are fine the way they are. And, look, I have a couple of reasons for thinking that way. First and foremost, if you're on a country road that you don't know, and you're doing, let's say it's posted 120 and you're doing 120, you come up to an 85 rated corner, that could cause issues, that could cause problems, it could be a big problem. There's a lot of windy roads in country New South Wales, country Victoria, and especially country Queensland, where this gentleman who's proposing the high speed limits resides, that the corners just they're not rated for that kind of speed increase. They're just not. So, as far as a country road goes, in my opinion, I don't think it's a great idea. On a freeway, however, and I'll mention, like the two major freeways, of course, the Hume Highway and the Pacific Motorway. Now, in recent years, the Pacific Motorway has gone through a major upgrade, and there's a lot of towns there that you bypass. So typically, the posted speed limit for most of it is 110 kilometres an hour. Now, he's proposing 130. So, look, I don't know. I keep having these little arguments with myself whether 130 is a viable option, and the reason I have arguments with myself, so firstly, do I think the roads are capable of sustaining that sort of speed limit? Absolutely I do. I don't think, based on the modern motor vehicle and the road surfaces, and I've driven these highways many times, many times. I've driven them in trucks, cars, I've ridden them on motorcycles. I've driven these highways, before and after the upgrades. I think there is a sustainability for a speed limit increase based on those two things. Where I sort of end up having the argument with myself is that if I'm driving down those freeways, and I mean, look, I don't stick to the speed limit all the time, I really don't. It's just, none of us do. But if I'm sitting there on 110k, I'll more often than not, I'll get people who are passing me at 120, 130, sometimes 140, and off they go. So to narrow it down, if we let's say we lifted the speed limit to 130 kilometers an hour, let's say we did it, right? Are we then going to get those same people who are going to continue to do 10 and 20k above the limit? Does that mean that they're going to think it's okay that, oh, that's okay, the speed limit's 130, I'll be right at 140, 150? And then maybe we get the oddballs that'll go for 160. Now that's 100 mile an hour. And that's a big thing. That's not something that we can just go, oh, look, she'll be right because cars are safer and the roads are good. No, that's not how it goes. Speed is only a contributing factor to road crash, right? It is not the sole component. Okay? In order to achieve speed, you need somebody behind the wheel to get that speed. And there is where the problem lies. And so this is why I have these arguments with myself. I don't know. Maybe 120, if I was going to say 120. Do I think trucks should should increase their speed levels? No, I don't. I think they're doing quite well at 100 kilometers an hour based on some of the sizes and the weights and the combustibles that these trucks, carry. So, yeah, I'm a little bit divided on that one. If we go back to the country road thing, well, there's a few more variables driving on a country road, and especially when you're driving at night, right? Now, it's bad enough when you're doing 100 kilometers an hour and you hit a kangaroo. Can you imagine doing that at 110, 120 if that's what a hypothetical speed limit was going to be? Your probability of surviving something like that will be very, very low, extremely low. Cars these days are designed to absorb impact, which is why a lot of them crush like accordions, but 9 times out of 10 you can get out there and a few minor cuts and bruises, maybe a couple of broken bones and so forth. But the fact is, the point I'm trying to make is you're still alive. You hit wildlife at 110, 120 k's. Those odds of you surviving are not great. Are not great at all. So, yeah, country roads, definitely not. Highway, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, if we look over the article here, there is a couple of valid points, and this guy's not the first one to actually discuss it. there's been quite a few people who have brought it up of late, but I don't think it's not the answer. Increasing speed limits is not the answer. I think people leading from the front is more the answer with their driving habits. So, and what I mean by that is that I think that L platers and P platers get a particularly hard time from not only us as mature drivers, but the media. I think the media give P-platers in particular a very hard time. They're not shy to highlight that I was a P-plate driver this and a P-plate driver that. They get a bit of a hard time because I can tell you, from my point of view, the majority of accidents that I have towed in my 30 plus years that I was doing the job, they're looking at about 80% of people who were over the age of 30 and should have known better at the end of the day. So really, we're not sort of setting a good example. And so if we're going to lift these speed limits on the freeway, what sort of example are we going to set then? I mean, if we're going to set one at all. And again, it goes back to these people that think they can get away with driving 10, 20, 30k over the speed limit that's currently posted now. I just don't see it working. I really don't. I don't see the speed limits in the roads as a broken wheel. I see a lot of drivers that contribute more to a broken wheel than those things. So, but again, that's just my opinion. I'm certainly no expert, but I've seen enough in my professional driving career that I would be inclined to just leave the speed limits as they are. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, what do you guys think? I'll be interested to hear what you think, and yeah. And again, please keep the comments polite. There's no reason to be a dick. So, thanks for watching. And again, the link for the actual article is in the description down below, as well as a link to the Drive website. They have some awesome articles actually that I really enjoy reading. So the next one I'll be uploading will be another interesting topic to do with the cost of car insurance, and I'll have my own thoughts on that, and I think you guys will find that extremely interesting. These are just my thoughts, and I'd be interested to hear some of the comments on that once I've posted it. So drive safe, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.